Today's video we're going to be doing a chit chat about some Neo Geo Arcade. Bring arcade games on the go with the Neo Geo edition of the Super Pocket. I must say that when it comes to this particular model, comes with 14 built-in games. And I can tell you that the game collection is absolutely awesome, even with some Metal Slug that comes with it. Not every single Metal Slug version, but we do have one of them. And if it's going to be the best one, that is something, of course, a debatable situation. But let's do a quick overview. So this thing comes with preloaded 14 Neo Geo games. So like all the other Super Pockets, a 2.8-inch high quality IPS panel. So I think that everybody is going to be loving it, with a simple reason, because some of you, what I understand of in the comments, just like a bigger screen. Let me know in the comments, what kind of screen do you think is best for this? Is it going to be a 3.5 inches or bigger? And let me know. However, let's do a quick unboxing and let's see if I can I actually unbox this thing without ripping the box. So opening up at the top was not a good option. So let's try the bottom part. Attempt number 4, because it's actually the fourth time I'm going to be opening up these things. Okay, so I didn't rip it up there. Let's see. See, this is the point. This is the problem I'm always having. These things are made of a very thin freaking cardboard. So how can I open this thing up without ripping it? You know, that is the thing. So if you want to collect these things, just leave them closed. Or you can actually open it up. I can see there's always like a minor damage because it's such a very thin cardboard. So in the inside, we're getting not a cartridge. There we go. We're not getting a cartridge because the games are built in. So the first thing is we're going to be seeing is the Super Pocket. We're giving us like the very nice, and I would say, can we say that it's actually a manual? It's more like a poster idea with a quick start guide explaining everything and a little bit of a commercial of the other cartridges, because we can actually implement a different cartridge with all kinds of different games. The only concern I'm having for in the future, are you still able to buy all of them, or are going to be looking into the second market and paying like premium price? So the other question remains, like, we do have like a limited edition, and you know, which one do you think is the better one? Next up, having like, say, let's do a quick comparison with the other version. I also reviewed the Neo Geo MVS version, a limited edition. I'm just going to be honest, I really hate it when they're doing this, because maybe you just love this original red color that is representing the MVS counterpart of the Neo Geo, and you don't have the option to buy it because these things were like sold out very quickly. And will this give something extra like different games? So what I understand of, not really. The weight, everything is the same, the mold, you name it. But yeah, which one do you prefer? Let me know in the comments which colors. However, let's continue with this particular one and let's do a quick overview of the device itself. Because I personally prefer this black version with gold, because it represents the Neo Geo AES. So overall, let's say when it comes to the controls, I must say that I'm not the biggest fan of the D-pad. Already mentioned throughout a couple of these videos that because the D-pad feels a little bit stiff. We need a resistance. I must say, how cool would it be if they had like something of an implementation of an original Neo Geo CD controller? You know, that would be such a cool thing that they did that. But I understand they're trying to just have like the same mold, the same configuration, only adding new games, of course, and then having a different layout. So another thing I think is also kind of cool if you had like a Street Fighter version with 6 buttons and stuff like that. But again, it's not happening. Over here, select and start, the menu button. And if you're going to be looking at the middle over here, this is the speaker. The speaker sounds quite nice. You can turn it on and off, charging it with a USB-C cable and a headphone jack out, and 2 LEDs. At the back, we're finding actually the back buttons. And the back buttons, I must say that when you're going to be actually using them, they're okay. I think they're not like the most comfortable thing out there. So I realize it calls this the official Neo Geo edition. Let's see what's actually called over here. What is this thing called? Oh, just Neo Geo edition, okay. Yeah, there's nothing going on over there. Nope, nothing different. And then at the back we're finding volume control on the top over here. And we can remove the cartridge. So this is just a piece of plastic, but I don't know if it's going to be better, but man, sliding this thing in, it does have like a lot of resistance. I noticed that too with every single device I actually checked out. But so far, later on, we're going to be checking out the game cartridge slot. Let's turn it on and let's see what is going on with the Blaze Entertainment. The Hyper Megatech. So overall quality wise, I didn't see any big differences between them. So the first thing that we can actually do is choose the language over here. So let's go with English. Then we're going to be rejecting, because I don't want to sell my soul to this thing, no. And I didn't record, but you get a photosensitive warning. So what kind of games? Alpha Mission 2, Blazing Star, Fate of Fury Special, King of the Monsters. The game collection, what I mentioned before, is the same like the other one. So I'm kind of glad they actually did that. Because, you know, if you have like a red MVS version and has like a couple of like unique hidden gem games, but you can buy it because it's completely sold out and they're asking crazy price on the second-hand market, it would be a shame. So the first thing we're going to be checking out is, of course, Blazing Star. But before we're going to be doing that, pressing the menu button, the Evercade settings, we have display. It's kind of cool. They have like original ratio, pixel perfect, full screen and everything else. Shaders can be implemented and the photosensitivity warning. Sound over here can be adjusted, but also we can do it with the physical button over here. Language, legal and support, and credits. But let's go to the menu because I wanted to actually check something. Let's go to the Neo Geo over here. I had a problem with the Blazing Star. Let's see what's going on. If you can get yourself like a loading screen, that's all fine and game, but normally getting like a black screen and everything was going to be messed up. And I can't recall it anymore. Was it like with the original resolution? Let's see what's going on. So we're getting the boot up screen. And okay, that seems to be working. But the thing I had was with the display setting. When I have like pixel perfect, there was one of these settings. Let's say pixel perfect. Let's try that. Or this thing doesn't have the same problem with the original ratio. So I'm really curious. Let's quit. Let's see with the pixel perfect. I think it was the full screen that had some issues with the MVS version. Let's see if they're having some weird thing going on. That's of course the first test. Both were like actually released at the same kind of time. No, we don't have any issues with this. Okay, it's kind of interesting to see that we don't have any weird thing going on. Let's reset. And all of these options seem to be working fine, including the startup. So we don't have any issues with this particular version. But when it comes to emulation performance, I must say that overall I'm never been disappointed with Evercade itself. Audio quality, it's okay. I wish they went for like a stereo speaker setup at the left and right bottom part or something else. Another thing is like the D-pad is very stiff, so navigating is okay. It's not like the best D-pad that I actually played with when it comes to playing some games. But emulation performance, it's great. We can go to the display. Let's say we're going original, we're going to be putting in some scan lines. That is all possible without any problem whatsoever. We can make a quick save over here. But I find it absolutely cool that we have a tiny screenshot. And we can just quit the game like that. So it works all like very fairly smoothly, no problems whatsoever. Fate of Fury Special. Oh yeah! So the reason I wanted to check out this particular game is just to see how the overall D-pad responds. I did also test it out on the other Neo Geo, but of course let's give it a little bit of a quick, wicked D-pad fetish test, because I just wanted to see what's going on. Oh, I'm going to be playing against myself. That's convenient. But I think when there's a problem like with shmups and I say beat 'em ups, the D-pad is okay. So it is actually responsive. That is one thing. So one of the games I wish they added to this is like the Breakers game. Man, Breakers is like the Street Fighter Alpha for the Neo Geo. I love that game. So much fun. I'm always playing it on many different machines. Also on the Ed games I've played a lot of the Breakers games. But so, how annoying can a character be? But what I wanted to do is actually just test out to see what's going on. But where I have like a personal handicap when it comes to the D-pad, but no. It is responsive when it comes to the moves, but okay, so actually no. So this is not going to be my favorite device for playing some Neo Geo. So this is one of the things they should absolutely improve, is the freaking D-pad. It would be cool to have like an upgraded version of some kind, but I mentioned before with the Neo Geo CD stick. I understand this is going to be like a complex situation, But let's try another couple of games, Last Resort for example, to see how much fun is that game. So moving on to the Last Resort and see what's going on with this. We do have some really cool shmups on the Neo Geo system. And this is not the first shmup I've played with these, let's say, devices. Like I mentioned before, it's playable. We got the imp. I think that's not, is it normal that we actually have like a turbo button? That is so much better. The back buttons don't do anything when it comes to that. Yep, I got squirt. That's one thing. But emulation performance, no problem here whatsoever. Let's go to the display. Let's put it in the original aspect ratio with no very strange filter, because I don't like these scanline filters. But we got another weird situation. Okay, so what I actually did is shut down some of the filters. But Metal Slug X doesn't boot up. Here we go, loading. Okay, wait, do I have a brain fart or what just happened? Loading, takes forever. But there we go. Okay, I don't know what's happened, but it actually didn't boot up the first time. No idea, maybe I pressed something. But the point is that after a Blazing Star situation with the other Neo Geo Mini, I just wanted to see what's going on. I find it still interesting that they went for the Neo Geo X and not like the first model. Or maybe that has to do because of the cartridge that's coming out. So let's see how it goes with shooting in certain directions. That seems to be working fine. Take a grenade. So navigating for games like Metal Slug is no problem whatsoever. Woo! Still, this is one of my favorite games to actually play when it comes to some old school games like this, like the old school Neo Geo games. Here, take all of the grenades. However, the over emulation, so far I can see it's spot on. But another thing I wanted to check out is of course a beat 'em up game. And when it comes to beat 'em up games, I'm always kind of picky when it comes to that. But one of the games I really like about the Neo Geo the Neo Geo system is going to be Sengoku 3. I've played all three of them, but still number 3 is going to be my favorite one. One of the reasons is very simple, that's the way how the mechanics work. We can even combine, certain buttons like with Street of Rage 2. So we can make like combinations and all kinds of cool stuff. I just love it. It does have like a little bit speed to it because we can actually dash, do some cool moves here. And this is absolutely one of the games I'm very glad they added. So you've seen a lot of, let's say, devices that also had like Sengoku 1 or 2 in the past, but never always my favorite one. So I'm glad that they added Sengoku 3 to this device. Shock Trooper 2 is a game that I didn't really play a lot. So you're going to be liking or hating some of the Neo Geo games. And this is a game, I think it was Shock Trooper 1, I did play a lot. I personally like that game mechanic itself more than this particular one. This is more like a Xeno Crisis, going wild on the streets. Oh yeah, a tank is approaching. It's an interesting concept. Such an interesting game. Got some really nice music. Infinite credit! Next up, I'm going to be checking out the Overtop game. So Overtop is actually one of those, let's say, similar games. I didn't notice. So when you're going to be playing a lot of Neo Geo, you will find similarities with certain games. This is really interesting. Let's choose, like, say, the most attractive car. Oh, let's see what's going on with this particular game. So I think it's Drift Out is another game called. That's something I can get used to, because it's such an interesting game. But let's see. One of the things I always like struggle with is like the crazy cornering. There we go. But it's fun. It's a fun game. And I think that's one of the cool things about, let's say, this Neo Geo device, and many cartridges hope to come, is that we can discover new games you would never play otherwise, because they are like super expensive if you're going to be trying to find them for MVS or AES. So I think it's a very cool idea to have like a Neo Geo device. However, let's do a quick overview of, let's say, cartridge. So I also wanted to, I made a dedicated video about the Gremlin Collection 2. But let's remove this piece of plastic. Oh. And then let's take a close look at this cartridge itself and let's see what's going on. Let's see if we can get in the cartridge, can boot up a game. Evercade, let's go. So we do have a couple of new games, so yep, we do have completely different games. So let's load it, and let's see what's going on over there. This game will take up a little bit more time to load up sometimes. But what is kind of cool is that we do have like a low budget solution, or at least like a cheaper solution when it comes to the device. But we can actually play some other games that are actually 2D2-bit. And so that's one of the things I was always like interested in, like how we're going to be doing this, because we do have all kinds of different kind of quality cartridges, and I mean particularly with the games, like some are like 8-bit or even like an old school Atari one. But this is actually one of the cool things. You can just plug in a different game. Let's get into the game itself. Loading times don't see much different from, let's say, a more expensive device. So this seems to be working all fine, no weird things like when it comes to, let's say, problems. We'll see how we crank up the volume. Wow, this thing goes really loud. But if you want to play Neo Geo on a budget, I think this can be a viable option. When you're buying this product, you have like an all-in-one handheld solution where this is not like limited to the 14 games built in. We can just play all kinds of different games. And if they're going to be releasing all kinds of Neo Geo cartridges with breakers and other Metal Slug games, that was going to be like absolutely legendary. But still, out of the box, 13 games, I think it's going to be a very fun overall experience. Where this thing has like a little bit of improvement room, particularly when it comes to the D-pad itself. And of course, we don't have HDMI out, so we're limited to handheld mode. But I think that is what we're getting when it comes to the budget, particularly with HDMI. Thank you all for watching. Consider subscribing, and it would be great to see you in the next video.